I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about, will they remember the good times? Well, in this video we're going to talk about that, because it's not just the good times, right? It's the good qualities that you have or the things that you brought into that person's life. And a lot of times we worry if they're going to miss those things, especially if you messed up, right? Let's be honest. You're going to be a lot more nervous that they're going to forget about the good things you brought into their life if you did some bad things and you messed up, right? And some of you may be looking at yourself thinking, what good things? Because you messed up so badly. And that's something that you really have to reflect on and think about who you are as a person and who you want to be. And how much that really lines up, with being accurate with the way you've treated people. Don't BS yourself. You need to be authentic and honest with yourself in who you truly want to be. And if your behaviors are lining up with those things. Because a lot of times people will tell themselves a story that, I was such a great partner and I did this and I did that. But if you really look at the behavior, somebody or most people might say, no, you weren't really a great partner. What made you a great partner? What was it that you were made you such a good partner for this person? Were you caring? Were you generous? Were you affectionate? Could they count on you? Could they trust you? And so if you look at those things and you don't like what you're seeing, now is the time to change those things. Okay? Because if you're not authentic with yourself and really look at who you are and like that person, then you're just going to wind up having other breakups because the other people you date, or if your ex comes back, they're just going to keep pointing out these qualities that make them feel like you're not a good partner for them. So you got to stay motivated. And it can be discouraging at times. It sure can. But at the end of the day, it's a marathon. And you gotta keep going and staying focused. Do the knowledge 30 minutes a day. Do the creative course, healing course, 30 minutes a day. Those things are gonna change your life. Not sitting there staring at their WhatsApp or their Instagram or their Facebook or driving past their house or calling their friends and family. Those aren't gonna change things. Going to therapy will change things. Listening to our videos and truly understanding what we're saying in those videos, because many times you'll watch a video 3, 4, 5 times and you still won't get certain messages. You won't have those aha moments the first few times. Okay? And I know because I've been there and I've talked about those aha moments that I had with Margaret. And over the years, even doing this still, we always have aha moments of trying to learn and grow. So if you're worried that your ex is going to scrutinize things and look at those, the bad and the good, you want to make sure that you get so confident or certain of yourself as a partner that you know that whoever you date, even if it doesn't work out, they'll remember the good times. And my exes that I still have contact with, they would all tell you I was a great boyfriend for what it doesn't matter why we didn't work out because those relationships were a long time ago, but all of them would say he was good to me. And I have no doubt about that with anybody that I dated, including the Applebee's girl. I never doubted how good of a partner I was because I knew I was a good partner. And so I always want you guys to get there, to that place, okay, where you are congruent with who you want to be is lining up, Okay? So I got an email coaching today, and I thought this was a good one because he's really worried if she's going to remember the good. The good in him, right? The good times they had. And there's good reason for that, as you're going to see. So this is a 30-year-old guy, and his ex was quite a bit younger, in her early 20s. And they met in early 2021, and they started dating a few months later. Now, he was separated at the time, but he wasn't legally divorced. Okay, so he actually wound up getting divorced probably about 4 or 5 months into the relationship here. But that was telling for me that he was just out of a marriage and already dating somebody. He wasn't even divorced yet. He probably wasn't ready because, you know, after a divorce, you really need time to heal, to work through it, and just to kind of be alone again for a bit. And if you don't, people just aren't ready. It causes a lot of breakups. Now, this woman, even though she's young, was a single mom. Now, he also has a son, too. So his son lives out of state. I don't know. He didn't say specifics there or how often he gets to see him or whatnot. But so she has a son and he has a son. Okay. And the son they were around the same age. Now, so they met at work and he says they had a great chemistry. We were always saying that we were meant to be together. Our relationship lasted 10 months and we were living together for 7 months. Okay, so again, we have him rushing here. Not even divorced yet, barely separated, and he's already living with somebody 3 months into a relationship. Could be too much too soon, okay? Then they got engaged at the end of 2021 and were planning on getting married in the summer of this year. So look at how quickly he's rushing things here. You know, this is too much. He's not even barely divorced, and he's already getting engaged 3 months later. Then he's planning on getting remarried 6 months later. Oh, man, this guy isn't really processing things and looking at things. And, you know, it just comes from a place of kind of naivety to me, right? He's kind of naive about this. So they broke up in the spring of 2022. There were 2 major problems: lack of trust and discussions about favoring my son more than hers. Now, I read that and I thought that was pretty tacky, okay? I'm going to be honest. Why would you guys even be discussing this? Like, I could tell, just the way he worded it, that for some reason he set out to make sure this woman understood that he favored his own son more than hers, which I don't know why you would go out of your way to say that. It just seems really bizarre. Like, why would you say that to somebody? That's their mother. What, you're going to tell the mother of this child, oh, I care about my kid more? Like, even if you do, like, just keep that to yourself. Nobody would want to hear that. It's just, there's no reason for that. There's no reason to say that. But of course, you know, that would upset somebody. And lack of trust. Let's go into that in a minute, okay? So he says, our wedding got into our heads, especially financially. Also, her coworkers were telling her that I was taking advantage of her. She was helping me pay my prior debts and expenses from my last breakup, attorney's fees, and stuff like that. Okay, so you guys were planning on trying to get married and whatnot, and so she was trying to help you out. But, you know, I could see how some people might think you were taking advantage of her, but, you know, you guys were engaged at the time, so let's go on, though. Besides, they were reinforcing the story that I was a cheater husband. My last marriage ended for being unfaithful. Okay, so now her friends and maybe her family knows that you cheated on your wife, and, you know, we don't know the details of that, but it probably wasn't healthy for you to jump into another engagement, right? So friends and family are warning her the way they see it. you were a cheater and you're taking money from her. She has this son. You're letting her pay off your expenses. They probably felt, seeing these things together, that you were taking advantage of her. Okay? While this was happening, I had to go visit my son that lives out of state. On my way, I felt tempted to fall into my old habit: cheating. I downloaded Tinder, but I erased the app 15 minutes later. Now, I told him, I don't know if you're telling me the truth with that. I mean, it's possible. It's entirely possible that you did delete it right away. Or maybe it's just what you told her. Now, he had wound up sending me a follow-up email and I asked him in the email coaching if that was true or not, and he didn't answer whether or not he really had deleted the app. So I think he just maybe told her that as the excuse that he erased it 15 minutes later, because, well, look at what happens. To my surprise, she texted me, "A cheater is always a cheater, huh?" Our phones were synchronized, and she saw I downloaded the app. He got caught. So that's what made me think, did you really come out and tell her or delete the app 15 minutes later? Or only because she found out right away? And then you're like saying, oh, no, I deleted it 15 minutes later. Only he knows the answer to that. But be authentic with yourself. If that's what you did, don't try and lie to yourself, because I get a feeling there might be some of that going on there. Okay? So now she's upset. You went out of town and you were on Tinder. And she already saw you as a cheater, and people are already warning her about you, right? So, not looking good, right? Even if you weren't going to follow through with that, it still doesn't look good to other people, right? He says, I felt terrible. I told her I don't know what I was thinking because I love her and that I'm sorry. The next day, she called me to break up. All right. Well, can you blame her? I mean, I don't blame her. I think a lot of people would have done the same thing. It sucks. But, you had a history of cheating, and there she caught you in the middle of it, or about to do it. He says, she ghosted me and blocked me from everywhere. I knew not to contact her, but other coaches were saying that our relationship was short. You guys were together for 10 months, right? And I needed to act fast. Otherwise, she would move on. I knew the second I saw that who it was, and I even made a joke about it. And he did confirm that it was that particular coach and other coaches who shall remain nameless. All right. Also, she works surrounded by guys, and it'll be easy for her to meet someone new. I regret what I did. We last talked towards the end of June. How can I prove to her that I'm changing? Well, I asked him a few questions to think about. First of all, what have you done to change? Like, nowhere in this email did I see anything that he had changed, made any effort to change, or done anything different, right? Nothing so far. He did give a little update that I'll share in a minute. But, that's one thing to really think about. Like, what are you truly doing to change? I can't tell you how many people that I say, if I was in your shoes, I would be in therapy if I wanted to be taken seriously. Whether you guys do that or not, it's up to you. But I know what happens a lot of these situations, right? I see it over and over again. He says, I don't work in the same place anymore, and I don't use social media. I'm worried that she won't remember me in a good light after a year, or if I go no contact, because our relationship didn't even last that long. Well, you guys were together for 10 months, and you were engaged and you were living together and it got serious and you were talking about marriage. So I don't think she's going to forget you anytime soon. I think she's just more looking at your behavior and thinking, how can I trust this guy? Last time I saw her, she told me that she believed I cheated on her more times, which is not true. Okay, the problem is that she believes it, and she believes that it's true. And that's the thing that's going to hold her back. So you're going to have to really show her that you totally understand why she feels like that. He says, I'm worried if I don't do something to destroy that misconception that she will just continue feeding that belief and nothing will be going to change over the years. I just knew I have ADHD and that explains my bad behavior a lot. ADHD explains your bad behavior? I called him out on that. Okay, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. While there are certainly symptoms and issues that we struggle from that, I don't think it explains cheating, right? And it felt to me like he was trying to get like a sympathy vote from her by saying that, and he kind of acknowledged that in his follow-up email to me. So he said, I would love to explain that to her. In other words, he wants to explain, I have ADHD, and that explains all my terrible behavior. And if you just knew it was ADHD, you'd take me back. No, it's not like that. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, ultimately, you have to be accountable for it. Even if you're bipolar or have some other mental health issue, it doesn't mean that you can use that as an excuse to justify your behavior. It just doesn't work like that. He says, I want her to know that I'm working on changing myself. Besides, I miss her kid. He cried when I was leaving, and I was planning to send him something through her dad that I keep in contact with. Yes, I know why you want to do it, but let me go on. Maybe that could prove to her indirectly that I'm changing and that I really was caring for her kid too. It feels manipulative to me. I wouldn't do it. I know now you're kind of feeling guilty about it, but these are the kind of things you really have to do the work within yourself so you don't do stuff like this, you know, especially when there's a small child involved and you're talking about, well, I like my kid more. Ladies, how would you feel if a guy said that to you? Guys, how would you feel if somebody said that to you? I mean, if I was dating somebody else and, you know, they said they like their kids more, I'd be like, oh, why are you telling me that? Like, it's your child. Biologically, I get it, but you don't have to say it and hurt somebody like that. And it feels like an insult to the child, too. So be careful of saying things like this to your partners and how you're coming across to other people. I'm mentioning years because I don't think it would be good for us to come back together right now. I think she's still immature. The irony is that he's calling her immature, right? And yes, she is young. And she was only in her early 20s. So yeah, I'm sure she is immature in a lot of ways. But if she heard you call her immature, I think she'd probably start raging at you, right? Like, I'm immature? And have a laundry list of complaints on how you were immature. I could just feel it. So he thinks they should wait till closer to 25. He says, besides, if I get my studies done, it will help me be more stable and avoid going through the same economical struggles with her. Well, that's great. And I'm glad you're motivated, and I'm glad you're working on your issues, because he did answer a couple questions that I'll get to real quick. He did agree that he needed more time for his divorce, and he said he had told her that he loved his son more than hers because he felt like he was betraying his son. He confirmed the coaches that I suspected it was, and he says he's been doing the workbooks. And he says, I got your workbook series a few months ago, and I love them. I've gone to see 3 different therapists since all this happened and told and they've all told him 3 different things. But he's working through unresolved issues like self-sabotaging relationships. He's had a sexual addiction. And he did agree that he was using the ADHD, and it sounded more like an excuse. But he's been meditating and journaling and doing the workbooks, and obviously he's in therapy. So he's putting into practice all of these things to change. And I know it's not going to be easy to hear some of the things I had to say today, but sometimes we have to hear things that are a little bit harsh or tough to swallow in order to really grow, right? That's just part of taking feedback and using it to grow. Because a lot of these things that he did were simple, avoidable mistakes. And he can easily change quite a few of these things. And I think that, she probably loves and cares about him, but she's just so fed up with the way he acted and is just thinking, how can I trust you? Look at your behavior. Look at what everybody's telling me about you. And when you do these shady things, it kind of implies that all of these things that they're saying about you might be true. So you're going to have to show her a lot of patience and understanding if she comes back, and not trying to force your own agenda, because she's going to have to see that you truly are a different person, but at a speed that's comfortable for her, not you trying to force things because you're scared she's going to find somebody else. Because if you do that, she's just going to say, no, this isn't working. But I do think you're going to hear from this woman. Just give her some time. And when she does, let her see these changes in you. Keep doing the knowledge 30 minutes a day. Stay in your therapy. Keep up with the meditating and the journaling. And if you decide to get the creative healing course, there's a bunch of stuff with like dream diary, homework activities, and all kinds of stuff in there that are going to take you a lot deeper than just the workbooks do. But stay motivated. Don't beat yourself up. I know you made some silly mistakes here. We all do. Nobody's perfect. Focus on who you want to be and aligning with the man that you want to be to make her happy. And so you guys can have a good family unit together, because you each have small children and it's not easy to do, right? Blending that family together. And it's going to take maturity and wisdom to do that. So keep up the hard work. Stay motivated. And if you need me again, I'm here. If you guys want to get my help personally, you can get it on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.